Hi, everyone. My name is Steffi Lee, and I'm part of the Iowa Association of Business and Industries Communications team. Thank you for joining us for our weekly business report. So this week, we're joined by Todd McDonald, who is the president of ATW Training Solutions and New Horizons Computer Learning Center. And recently, Todd wrote an article about fostering relationships in the workplace. So Todd, what inspired you to write this piece, and what can ABI members take away from the findings that you were able to consolidate and learn from?
Well, I think Steffi, when you really look at what has happened in the world over the last couple of years, the pandemic has caused us to look at, the change the way that we recruit, we hire, we train, and probably most importantly, retain some of our employees. And with that, there's been all kinds of changes. I'm a database person. One of the things that I always look at is what's the data showing, and there's a software service we use called Boodle. They did this survey of 800 employees and said that they really felt that their culture within their organization has suffered in the last 2 years because of all of the remote work, all of the changes and everything going on. And when you really start to think about that, that's a huge issue to all of us. I've been part of ABI for over 30 years at this point, and I know how important it is that we get the right people into our organizations. And as we travel right now, every place we go into, people say, well, and I'll ask them, what's your biggest issue? Well, it's finding good people, and I would definitely agree that it is. At the same time, though, I think it's almost as important, or even more important, that you keep the ones that you've already got. And a lot of that goes back to building relationships. Number one reason why employees leave companies is their manager. If they don't have a good relationship with their manager, so that manager relationship and their team members. So that they're wanting that culture, they're wanting those relationships. And right now, when we have a lot of people that are not working in the office, or are working remote or doing a hybrid in and out, that's where we're running into. And that's why I went ahead and I wrote the article and just said, look, we got to focus in on relationships. How do we create those relationships? We always used to talk about the water cooler conversations being bad things. And I think now what we're finding is that we wish we had more opportunities to have some of those water cooler conversations when we're just walking up and down the hall and seeing somebody and having that conversation. We don't have that when when we're working remotely. Now, one of the things that we found in our recent trends and talent development survey that we did was that 83% of companies said they are going to be having people working remote next year. I mean, that's a big number. Now, I will tell you that back in 2019, when we did it, 72% of the companies said that they would have remote workers. Now, keep in mind, that was 2019. That was before COVID. So this whole thing of people working remotely is not new. What happened was, because of COVID, it just got accelerated, and we had to put it into place a lot faster. And what we've done is we've done everything that we could to adapt and advance. But now I think we need to take a step back and say, okay, we've adapted, we've advanced, we've survived. Now we need to go back and say there's probably some things we've done in the last year or two that are probably not good long-term things to keep in play. How do we go back and transform that? And I think that's part of doing that with relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned this trends in development survey. So what did you learn about the ways that organizations are able to deliver talent development opportunities and continue to build that teamwork and engagement?
It's about how do we use the tools that we have. I mean, companies are going to have people, you're going to develop people face to face, you're going to do a virtual instructor led, you're going to do self-paced, you're going to do, different forms of online learning. You're going to have hybrid classrooms where you have half of the people at your site and half of them working at home. And I think that's where, as organizations, we've got to really look at it and just say, hey, we're going to be open to whatever works. We have to be flexible. We have to adapt because that's the times that we're in.
Thank you so much for sharing this insight. And ATW Solutions is a by ABI partner. And Todd, you also serve on the board of directors for ABI. So by ABI helps ABI members save thousands of dollars on business needs such as training and development. And one of the ways through this partnership members can leverage that is by buying one seat to an ATW public session and getting one free. So what are some ways that ATW Training Solutions is able to help organizations with this talent development?
Well, one of the things that we always want to we always want to do is we want to give back to the organizations that we participate in, and ABI has been a very strong part of my professional career for a long time now. And so the Buy ABI program, which just made a whole lot of sense. If anybody wants to take advantage of some of our public sessions, if they want to do something on leadership or teamwork or customer service or communications, we have public sessions that go on every month. Buy one of the seats, we'll give another one free. That way you're kind of doubling the value that you're putting in. And then it's ATW Training Solutions. So if you have needs, come to us. We want to try to provide some of those solutions. We work with a lot of manufacturers across the United States to do very product specific training. We work with a very large tire company that we do videos on how to patch nail holes and retread tires, or a software company on how to use our software. So we can work with a lot of organizations to help do some very organization specific training, or we can bring some of the best in training across the world, like crucial conversations or situational leadership, or Patrick Leccione's 5 behaviors of a cohesive team.
So thank you so much for your involvement with ABI and sharing this insight for workspaces. And so if you would like to find information about the 2021-2022 Iowa Trends and Development Survey at our Iowa ABI website, you can go to iowaabi.org and hit our news tab. And for additional information about the Buy ABI program and to find ATW Training Solutions information, you can go to the membership tab and go ahead and click Buy ABI. Thank you so much.